Hey, Peace Warriors, it's Sally Ann from Heaven's Light Wellness, and thanks for being here because we are talking about something that is kind of an epidemic around here. I know that's a bad word to say, but anxiety and stress are really affecting a lot of the population. So how can we help you or the people that you love to bust up that stress and anxiety in everyday life? I have a solution. Okay, so I like to call it gatekeeper hands, right? So because gatekeepers protect what comes in. So I want to give you permission to protect what comes in. It's super easy. You can do it at a traffic light. You can do it in a meditation. You can do it while you're waiting for your salad to show up at lunch or dinner. Really super easy. It's just about getting into that mindset. So let's talk about what it is. So, gatekeeper hands is if you are protecting your heart, right? Your heart chakra, where everything comes in. So the first thing you would do is you tuck your elbows, right? If you're catching a ball, what do? I mean, yes, you go like this, but then you bring it into yourself. So your elbows are close to your body, your hands are out in front, and then actually I want you to turn whatever that situation is into a ball. I want you to visualize it out here, outside of your body. Don't accept it in, right? So someone just said something not so nice at work or at the gym, or some guy yelled at you on the freeway and, he didn't even see you. So it's not really about you. And a lot of times it's not about you. But you have this situation. It has come in. It could be a good friend that said something. And then you're going to take it before it comes in. That's the trick. You're going to take it and you're going to turn it into this ball. And I want you to look at it. I want you to look at this situation and say, what is the situation? Really, what is going on here? Right? In the case of someone yelling at you on the freeway, do they still do that? I think so. But I was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess. Maybe I wasn't going 85 miles an hour like everybody else was, and the speed limit was only 75. Okay, so that's my situation. So what part of that person's reaction has to do with me? You know what? I think I'll take 10%. I wasn't going as fast as everybody else. I was still going what made me feel comfortable. I still felt safe, which is so important, right? But I can look at this and say, okay, I have a bright blue car and he spotted me and he doesn't think I was going fast enough. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that 10%, right? Okay, this is mine. This little 10% is mine. I'll put it on my shoulder. What do I do with this 90%? Well, this 90% has nothing to do with me. This 90% is that guy, the person that threw you this bad moment, right? And this 90% really isn't yours. So what do you do with it, right? What do you do with this 90% of this heaviness that's sitting there? And look, I'm also going to tell you, even if it's 50% your fault, right? Or you feel responsible for 50% of the situation that happened, it's still 50%. It's never 100%. Remember that. Give yourself some credit and cut yourself some slack. Okay, so I have this ball of stuff that doesn't belong to me. Well, the world, or the way I was brought up anyway, is okay, you should take it all in. You should take 100% of it and shove it in your body and feel icky and deal with it, right? Grow up and deal with it. Put on your big girl panties. Why? Why do you do that? Why do you have to do that? I am here to tell you, you don't have to do that. You don't have to take 100% of it in. You can take whatever your responsibility is. My 10%, worst case scenario, your 50%. Yeah, I can take that and I can process it. And then I can say, why do I feel like this 10% is mine? Why do I feel like this 50% is mine? And as you can process through it, then you can ultimately forgive yourself. Now, how to process. We're going to talk about that for a quick second. Processing is actually thinking about it, right? Processing is saying, why did this happen? What part is my responsibility? How could I have made it better? And can I forgive myself? Now, there may be like 12 steps in there to those 4 big buckets. The key is the last one. How can I forgive myself? Now, in the case of the car or speeding or being in the wrong place at the wrong time, that's pretty easy to forgive yourself, right? You're like, okay, I'm not taking on that person's ick, and it is what it is. I will be extra careful. I will, whatever, keep up with traffic instead of the speed limit, if that's what you feel comfortable with. You have to do what makes you feel comfortable and safe. Always, 100% of the time, your safety is the highest priority above all, okay? So the second highest priority is to cut yourself some slack and understand who you are and what you need. All right, so you've processed it, you've forgiven yourself. Man, that little percent, even if it's that 50%, has now dissolved, right? And it's so much easier to live with because it's not heavyweight, full uck, 100% of somebody else's stuff with that, right? So let's go back. Now, what do I do with that other person's stuff? I want to give you permission to disregard it. I want to give you permission to move it to something else. Now, I love being based in love and being optimistic. It kind of just fills my bucket, if you will. So that's what I have. I have this bucket on the side of me that I dump that sort of stuff in. So I can say, wow, this doesn't belong to me. This shouldn't be thrown out into the world because it's a whole bunch of ick. I'm going to put it in my bucket over here. Turn your bucket into joy or love or happiness, right? So it all goes in there. And then it just sits and turns into one of those positive affirmations. If you're going to carry it next to you, it might as well be something good and joyful. Could be children's laughter. Could be anything that makes you happy. Okay? So you take the ick, throw it in this invisible bucket next to you that has this joy in there. And then you can forget it and leave it alone. And then once you've processed what happens to you and you've gone to that positive place, I'm going to tell you the anxiety gets better. I'm going to tell you that the stress gets better. I've been doing this for at least 8 years. It's one of this new and wonderful learnings that I've had. And it's an easier way to live in comfort, in faith, in understanding that the world is not against me. So I have this little sign that says, the universe is working in my favor. Yeah, I 100% believe the universe is working in my favor. I'd like to gift you that opportunity. So this way the universe can work in your favor too. So by not taking in all this negativeness that the world throws upon us, we're not absorbing it. We have permission to not take it in and to also process it till it goes to a positive thing. I want to gift you that. And practice it. I want you to practice that. Now, the other thing is, what if you do it to yourself, right? What if you decide to say, I'm such a nincompoop. I did the wrong thing. I am bad at X or Y. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that we can say to ourselves every day. It happens. Some days we have bad days, right? We're just human. That's all we are. So when that happens, and maybe you can't catch yourself right away with your gatekeeper hands to stop it from happening, sometimes you can. When you see it come around, you can go, whoo, got to put my protection up, and I have to reprocess what I'm saying to myself. Absolutely, do that. I have a funny story with that. So you can tell I have lots of hair. Right? I have all this great curls. It's all natural. I am so very lucky. Well, a couple of years ago, I remember I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, is that a gray hair? Is that a gray hair on top of my head? Oh my gosh. I was like, I have to do something about this. Oh my gosh, am I getting too old? Blah, 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 blah. Well, I stopped myself and I started to laugh. I'm like, it's one gray hair. I pulled it out of my head. I threw it away. And I said, one gray hair amongst all of these curls. Where am I focusing my energy? I had to focus on the majority, on the good, not one single gray hair. Who cares? Off it goes, out. It's out of my life, right? So the same thing can happen when you start talking badly about yourself. Now, I was able to catch it, right? I caught it in my gatekeeper hands and I reprocessed and refocused on what the important thing was in my life so I can get better. But Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're getting in a tub or in a shower or going to bed, and you may say to yourself, I really had a rough day. Okay, why did you have a rough day? Oh, I really X, Y, and Z, right? Really wasn't kind to myself. Well, you may not have had your little gratitude and gatekeeper hands up at that moment, but you can go back to visit it. You can go back and say, oh, wow, I was really tough on myself because of I was feeling insecure and not prepared. And I said this to myself. And you can say, okay, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Do I feel better? Will I be better? Can I fix that for later? Can I change my behavior so the next time it comes around, I can be kinder to myself? So sometimes we could bring this gatekeeper arms back in, even though it's already happened, right? So know that that is an option. So this way you can sleep better. You can remove some of that anxiety and stress about what your day was like. Wouldn't it be lovely if every single night you went to sleep thinking, man, today was a rock and roll day, right? It was a great day. That is so my wish for you. So I hope that these techniques or this big technique can help you understanding that there's a whole bunch of ways to use it. So, and a process, right? Everything's a process that we learn. Ultimately, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get really good at it. The more you practice, you'll be doing it at the stoplight. You'll be doing it unconsciously when it happens. But for now, be purposeful. Protect your heart and your humanness. And go back to it. Go back every night if that's what you need to do so you can process through the day, so you can wipe it clean. Start with a clean slate. Don't have all this storage of ick in your body because you do not deserve it. You do not need negativity in your life to fulfill a full and beautiful life, right? All right, so you can check this out on our blog. You know that I would love if you would subscribe so this way you continue to get these messages. Every month we launch something new and that's hopefully helpful. And I would love, love, love to hear some of your comments so you can tell me, is this helpful? How else can I explain this so this way it works for you? Share some ways that this Gatekeeper Hands has helped you process, smile, be kind to yourself, right? Because I want you to know that you really are loved. So have the most beautiful day. Bye, guys.